We're breaking through the mid-season point. Welcome to the Motorland Aragon under the Spanish sun for the fourth round of V2V Endurance Series Season 2016. 4 categories are here this weekend: the Funyos, the single-seaters, the Protos and the GT3 and LMP3. And we're going to start with the latter category. Fasten your seatbelts and away we go. And we start with the traditional lap of the track on board, 5,344 kilometers in the company of Tiziano Carugatti, the driver of the Renault RS01, number 11. We start with the straight and heavy braking and a left-handed corner. You mustn't make a mistake here, otherwise you're slow on the next sections. We ease off a bit next in order to go flat out into the next corner, looking for the racing line. Then up onto the curb. And then we brake on the straight before a tight left-hander, which conditions the straight and the curve coming up next. We need to stay on the inside, allow the car to be carried to the outside, and then brake as straight as possible in order to come into the corner and get that racing line as I've just done. Then we attack the descent, and there's a big braking and a huge right-hander which decides what will happen after that, including the left-hander here. And we're braking and we can't see anything at all. You need to find a way in on the right and then attack the curb on the left. After that, it's flat out again until the braking through the chicane, which is really tight and you mustn't get wrong. You need to stay on the inside, stay on the right.
Il faut rester tout à l'intérieur, rester à droite, repartir à gauche.
Then onto the left while accelerating. We're in second gear now and accelerate as hard as possible. Yeah, this braking is not so huge here. We want to keep the speed up right here and let the car run in order to generate speed. Yeah, here I need to let it go. I'm a bit too close to the inside here and need to accelerate from here. We're flat out again from the pit lane, straight and onto another lap. Twenty cars have been entered for the GT Turismo P3 PFV, a 4-hour race. The Ginettas distinguished themselves in qualifying again with pole for number 57 of Tomlinson Simpson in front of number 55 of Colin White and Charlie Robertson. In third, it's the Ligier 13 in front of number 93 of N-Race on the 2 Graf racing cars, the number 10 in front of the number 888. In GTs, the Renault number 45 takes pole in front of the Viper number 70. The Ferrari Visium of the champion starts 4th. The cars are in formation 2x2 for the 4-hour race. The Ginetta 57 makes a great start, but behind Lawrence Tomlinson, you can see that wheels lock up. Thierry Perrier is in the field. On the left of shot, the Ginetta number 59 messes up the braking and hits poor Bruno Stucky's car. The Dodge Viper number 70 has already been forced to abandon. At the end of the first lap, the 3 Ginettas lead with the number 57 in front of the number 55 and number 50. In 4th, the Ligier JSP3 number 13 of Europol competition, while the Graf number 10 rounds up at the top of number 5. Very quickly, the Frenchman Remy Dugoufroy attacks Colin White and claims 2nd position behind Lawrence Tomlinson, the leader. In GT, an amazing start from Thierry Proust and the Renault number 45, which leads after 30 minutes of racing from the Ferrari F488 GT3 number 1 of the trio Jean-Paul Pagny, Jean-Bernard Bouvet, Thierry Perrier, and the Renault RS01 of Eric van der Weyer, Michel Vigelin and Tiziano Carugatti. A few minutes later, the pit lane comes to life with the first handicap stops for some of the first stops for others. Some teams even decide to change drivers. That's what the Spaniards of BE Motorsport do as Mathis Bakker takes over from Javier Ibran Pardo.
No, my instinct was good. I think we did a good job. I just come out and I think we need to have a good ritmo to have a good end of the race.
Talk us about the track as well here. You seem to know this track very well. Do you like it?
The circuit is a really very fast circuit, and I think for all the drivers on LMP3, this is a circuit to be. And we have some advantage about the GTs because the GTs they are not faster in long curves, and with long curves, this car is the best.
Back to the track, and the P3 PFVs are hammering out quite a rhythm. After 1 hour 30 of racing, Eric Trouillet is leading thanks to an alternative strategy put into place by the Graf team, run by Pascal Ratouillet. The team has its second car, the Ligier number 10, in second, ahead of the number 93 of Fontaine, Deculto and Perrois. Fourth for the Ginetta number 57, still driven by Lawrence Tomlinson, who already put in 4 of his 5 mandatory stops. The top 5 is completed by the Ligier number 13 of the Inter-Europol competition team. In the S1 category for silhouette cars, the Vortex number 20 has a few problems at the start of the race. It's second behind the Solution F V8 driven by Philippe Chariol. It has 7-litre Corvette engine. The car was built by Solution F in Aix-en-Provence. I'm from Aix, so I helped my people, as I didn't want to drive a car like one all the others are driving. I asked a designer to come up with a design especially for me. And there it is. It's mine, so it's a Chariol, knitted out like a Chariol and driven by a Chariol. It's the complete package.
Et donc j'ai une carrosserie particulière, je suis le seul à l'avoir, et c'est donc une Chariol. Voilà, donc c'est une Chariol, décorée Chariol, conduite par Chariol, le package complet, quoi, voilà.
In GT drama, as there's trouble for the Renault number 45, which has been leading the category. Huge disappointment for Thibaut Proust and Jus. The Ferrari number 1 makes up most of that, pulling out an advantage thanks to good strategy, and now leading Renault number 11 of Van der Weyer, Carugatti and Vegelen, while the Ferrari number 51 of the Italians Cordoni and Zanutini has a fine third place. Under 2 hours from the end, the P3 drivers go in for refueling for the last time. That's the case for Jakub Smykowski, who leaves his seat to Martin Heap. Mike Simpson takes over from Lawrence Tomlinson, and Eric Trouillet hands over to Fabrice Rossello after a very good stint.
We're progressing.
We've a new team this year, and the goal is to progress and try to have some wins at the end of the season. It's a race in which you need to score points and hold on to the advantage. It's a very pleasant car to drive. The power-assisted steering helps a lot, and there's lots of aerodynamics here, making it a great car for gentlemen drivers. With beautiful circuits, the atmosphere is great, there are beautiful cars, and I think it's a very good championship. It's satisfying too for the Spanish team, SFR by Speed Factory. The Ligier number 5 likes the circuit and holds position despite intense heat.
It was like a sauna. It's very hot in the car. It's unbelievable. But I had a lot of fun to drive here in Motorland with Team Speed Factory, and it was a nice stint for me. Hot, but I can do more.
What is the feeling to drive for a Spanish team, so here in Aragon?
Very nice, very special to drive, of course, for a Spanish team in Spain, in Motorland Aragon. I hope the fans will enjoy what we do today, so we do our best. The VDV series is very good. I have a lot of fun, it's relaxed, it's professional. After the races, also a lot to do in the VDV series. I think it's a very good series to get progress in driving in LMP3s. It's a good open series. And for later a step on to higher series, but to stay here, I like it for sure.
In GTV2, the Porsche number 56 of the trio Malagol Bachelier Blanc is still very solid and enjoys a fine 4th in the GT standings. At the front of the race, Mike Simpson's putting in times which resemble qualifying times with a best clocking of 1:43. The Briton is quickly into the race lead. In under 10 laps, he pulls out an advantage over his closest rival, Martin Hipp. Second in the race, the German's leading in the P3s and is ahead of the 2 Ligier from Graf Racing. The 888 in front of the number 10. At the end of an almost perfect race, the Ginetta number 57 wins the 4-hour race, which took place under extreme sun, a second win of the year for Tomlinson Simpson, getting it right again after their abandonment at Castellet.
No, things went well this weekend. Yeah, it was good. We had a nice first stint, and Mike went out as well, just did the business.
My Sunday afternoon drive was quite straightforward, really. So no, it's good. You know, for the car to run in these temperatures, very, very strong. Very cool for the driver. I've done 2 hours 10 minutes. I look, you know, let's do another. So, great. Thank you very much.
In GT, the Visium team scraped through to a win, a first for the Ferrari F488. We put a strategy into place and we're winners. Visium are winners, they're not losers. And we did what we needed to do, and I've got two teammates, engineers and mechanics who are superb. The winners in the various categories are on the podium here at Alcanis, Simpson Motorsport, Anti-Europol Competition and Visium. A 1, 2, 3 for the Ginetta, G57 and PFV, while in P3 the Ligier takes the honours. The GT win for Visium, a lap in front of Renault RS01 of AB Sport Auto, third for Ferrari AF Course 51. The Motorland Aragon circuit is the theatre for the fourth round of the 2016 V2V season. The single-seater drivers are ready to take to the track. With 25 cars entered, it promises to be some challenge. As the first of 3 races over the weekend, championship leader Alexander James Peroni goes off from pole ahead of the second-place man in the championship, Gilles Heriau. And with Oscar Arkila absent, the likes of Grégoire Saucy in the number 26 or Alexis Tchouklin, back of the wheel, number 17 of MP Motorsport would like to get them into the mix. When the lights go out, Peroni gets the better start in front of Heriau and Saucy. Watt braking into the first corner. He gets rid of Saucy and Magnus in order to take third position. With 4 wins already this season, the TS course driver Alex Peroni builds a lead over the rest of the field and can also pull out an advantage at the top of the championship. In second, Gilles Heriau hasn't had his final word. The man from Brittany's on a run and he's been on the podium in each of the past 3 races. The Formula Motorsport driver is still in front of Alexis Tchouklin, the young Grégoire Saucy on his heels. A leading quartet which doesn't change until the checkered flag. Another win then for Alexander James Peroni in front of Gilles Heriau and Alexis Tchouklin. The following morning, it's the Frenchman Gilles Heriau shining. The Formula Motorsport driver gets his first win in Formule Renault. Alexander Peroni and the Ukrainian Alexis Tchouklin join him in the podium. With a win each, the meeting champion went down to the last race. Gilles Heriau against Alexander Peroni. The duel starts with the opening meters. The Australian immediately takes advantage over the Frenchman and builds a lead. We're with the leader, but Peroni makes a mistake, messing up his braking. He gets back on the track as quickly as possible, but Gilles Heriau and Alexis Tchouklin make the most of that to overtake. Peroni's got to do it all again. The Australian's bit between his teeth and starts to catch up with Alexis Tchouklin and then overtakes him with no problem. The TS course driver puts in quick laps and closes on Gilles Heriau. The Australian is in his slipstream of number 37 and gets through on corner 12. Peroni reclaims the leadership 2 laps from the end and wins for the second time this weekend. With 174 points scored out of 180 possible, the Australian now has a 55-point advantage. That means the Italian teams are joyous going to Mugello. Heriau, Peroni and Tchouklin, 3 strong men of Alcanis. This weekend, 29 Funyos are there and they want to put on a show at Motorland Aragon. It's always a fun category to watch and dynamic, and the drivers really enjoy it. 2 models race side by side on the circuits this season. The SP05 is the most recent from the Yves Oran stable, and the F5, where the drivers always get involved in massive battles. On this grid, it's Romain Houllier, the undisputed leader in the SP05, that starts from pole position. He leads from Jean Kellet and Arlin Boulin and Christophe Clément. In F5, very good from Cyril Denis, who sets the best time in front of Aurélien Robineau and Cédric Gardin. Off the start, Houllier and Kellet mess up. Arlin Boulin takes advantage of that in order to lead from Edouard Herry. We're on board with Aurélien Robineau, leader in F5. Things are difficult for the peloton. Romain Houllier only needed a lap in order to get into the lead. He's ahead of Arlin Boulin and the number 32 of Jean Kellet. As usual, the battle's spectacular in F5. Cyril Denis pulls ahead of Robineau on corner 12. And he's imitated soon after by Cédric Gardin, the leading quartet then. Denis, Gardin, Robineau and Malenconi. Back to the front overall with Jean Kellet ahead of Houllier, Boulin and Girardeau. After a drive-through for the jumping start, Houllier is already up to the second behind Kellet. In F5, the standings have changed. Cyril Denis leads from Gardin, Malconi and Robineau. We're on board with Robineau just behind Malinconi. Malinconi's being bothered by the SPO5 of Tomaszek, and Robineau goes through and up to third. After 9 laps of putting his foot to the floor, Houllier gets through past Collet and wins SPO5. In the second race of the weekend, Houllier gets a good start and soon pulls away at the front ahead of Jean Collet and Arlin Boulin. The 2014 champion can't do anything to get back on terms. Now we're on board with Collet, but what's happening with the Prom Autosport driver? He's gone wide and he's punctured. Arlin Boulin overtakes him. And the number 11 must abandon the race. In F5, there's an intense battle for the lead between Malinconi and Gardin. The two men are followed closely by Denis. Denis gets past Malinconi and is now up to Gardin's exhaust. What braking! And the number 72 goes in for a second win in a row. Nobody can get close to Romain Houllier, a 9th win this season for him, and he was blissfully alone. It's the same scenario in the last race of the weekend, a 3rd straight hat-trick for Houllier, and he consolidates his position as championship leader in the SPO5 ahead of Boulin and Collet. In F5, Cedric Gadin leaves Spain with a 27.5 point advantage over Romain Malinconi and 43 over Robineau. We finished the Motorland Aragon meeting with the Protos, a 9-hour race with double points, so there's a lot at stake for the teams involved. On the grid, the DB Autosport of Daniel Bassora has pole in the number 21 ahead of the 22. Jordan Perroy knows he's got to attack from the start because he's got no choice. We have 9 penalty trips through pit lane to do, so it's very important to be able to control the traffic. Reliability is key to this race as it lasts for 9 hours, 3 hours longer than usual. The Norma, number 2 of the TFT team's 3rd, with a new engine and a modified setup after the qualifying session. The championship leaders have the objective of staying in the leading group throughout the first part of the race. The first Ligier on the grid, the number 17 of the I-Deck, leads from the Norma number 32 of CD Sport. In the Prestige, number 6 is on pole in front of number 5 and 26. The green flag, Jordan Perroy, powers away from the front ahead of number 22, the 2 and the 32. And the number 40 of Palmer. There's no trouble through the first braking for the first 20 cars entered in the race. The DB Autosport puts his strategy into place from the start, is pushing hard with the 21 to build a lead, while the 22 will be adopting a more conservative strategy. While Ferté is 3rd and is attacking hard behind the leading duo. After a few minutes of racing, it's clear that in this heat, it's looking after the men and their machines. Some decide to put in their handicap trips through the pit lane. Others change drivers. That's the case at TFT, who are currently 5th overall. We decided to do shorter stints in order to combat the extreme heat and then do longer stints when the temperature drops a bit. There are some teams that have 3 gentlemen drivers, 3 amateurs, and we're one of them. So we'll see. We enjoy racing every Sunday, and when there are VW races, it's great.
Ça fait plaisir tous les dimanches, tous les week-ends quand on court, on fait des courses V2V, c'est très bien.
Back to the track, and drama with an engine problem for the leaders. After 1 hour 30 of racing, the number 21 has to abandon. A little bit later, it's the turn of number 40 of Palmer to have an engine issue. The favourites are dropping like flies. Zollinger, Tuna and Mondolo are short of luck this 2016 season. The standings have been shaken up mid-race. The Norma, number 22 of DB Autosport, stands first and is in front of the number 32 and number 2 of TFT. Let's check on the standings with Claude Degremont, team manager at CD Sport. There's still a lot of time left in this race, and for now, the number 32 is 2nd, the number 31 is 5th, and that's a good spot for them. Unfortunately, we've got electrical problems with the number 30. They're starting and stopping and restarting, so it's a pity. In the prestige category for gentlemen drivers, the number 6 of the trio Bazo Thirion Caillon is the solid leader in front of number 31 of CD Sport. In 3rd, it's the number 67 of Remy and Gregory Strybig, and they're ahead of Ligier, number 15 of I-Deck Sport Racing. The Italians of Scuderia, By and By, number 50, are in 5th place. The battle is unrelenting and doesn't disturb the men from the Alsace in Team 1. Remy Streibig competed in the 24 Hours of Le Mans a few weeks ago. We caught up with him. It's true, I was at Le Mans with my dad, who's competed there maybe 12 times. I said to myself I needed to take the wheel at least once. That's my family. My son's at the wheel now here, so it's a real family story. The team from Alsace have not one, but two drivers who took part at Le Mans. As Vincent Capillaire is at the wheel of number 68, it's yet more proof that V2V is a good school for the best endurance the world has to offer. The V2V was my springboard. A year after I found myself competing for Sébastien Loeb, racing, and then in the World Championship for Alpine. All of that came about thanks to what I'd learned in V2V and the results I had. It opened doors for me, and the V2V launched my career, so I'm very attached to it. Eric van der Vaar ensures there are new things every year. In 2016, the track used by the drivers at Motorland have been modified, placing more of a premium on driver ability. The circuit's magnificent. I admit I was a bit skeptical about the change because we're using the bike circuit this year. In fact, the new corner's just as fabulous because you come into extremely quick. It's difficult from a visual point because you think it's a right angle. You're in such a flat out that it's exciting and it's a good change. Back to the track, or to the pits to be more precise, with the number 32 that's got suspension problems under an hour from the finish. CD Sport has a win at Paul Ricard, but Claude Degremont and Laurent Cazenave are left disappointed here. No trouble, though, for the number 22 of DB Autosport, which leads after the disappointment of Castellet last month. Daniel Bessora's team seems to be heading for a first V2V win. In second is the number 2 of TFT, Philippe Iliano, Alain Ferté and Ander Villarigno. They're 2 laps down on the leaders ahead of their teammates in the Norman number 6. An exceptional performance from the gentleman Bazo Thirion-Caillon sees them on their course for a podium. Only a few metres of racing left for the number 22 after a particularly grueling 9-hour race for the drivers and the mechanics. The DB Autosport collects a first win thanks to Delafos Danilou Peterson. It's great for Bessora's team in the championship race as the points are doubled here.
It's feeling great. I can only say thank you to DB Autosport. They gave us not only a fast car but a reliable car. And thanks to my teammate, we got it. Yeah!
So much joy on the podium, Motorland Aragon. Confirmation of the results with the win for the number 22 in front of the number 2, which holds on to the championship lead by 9 points. A special mention to the prestige drivers, so good in this longest event of the year. It's already the end of this episode at Aragon. The next one is at the Italian circuit of Mugello in September. For now, have a great summer and thanks for watching MotorsTV.